What's going on, everyone? So today we have to talk about AVANTIS because we are still trading in this pattern. We're going to jump straight into this. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. But let's talk about this because AVANTIS is still kind of trading sideways. As you can see, we're pretty flat on the day. In the last 7 days, 4.5%. In the last 14 days, still down 46.5%. And we still have some low volume at 203 million. Well, the volume's pretty high compared to the market cap, but it's not high compared to what AVANTIS was doing before, the 7 billion in trading volume, which was pretty crazy. But what we are seeing currently right now inside of AVANTIS is this pattern here. So what we are looking at is a symmetrical triangle, but this is a bearish symmetrical triangle because of where AVANTIS came from. It came all the way from up here all the way down. That is a bearish symmetrical triangle. So we know that it is a bearish symmetrical triangle just because of this. But the real question is AVANTIS going to break out on the upside or the downside? So even though we know what type of symmetrical triangle it is, and some people are probably like, oh, it's not a triangle. Look, if we just extend it in a little bit more, I know I didn't have it extended all the way, but look, a lot of people are probably going to be upset saying, no, it's not bearish. No. I don't care what people are saying. I'm just looking at the indicators here. So what I'm focused on is what the indicators are saying. We have a pattern here saying that we are bearish, the symmetrical triangle, the bearish symmetrical triangle, this one right here. So if this pattern right here says that we're bearish, I'm going to say we're bearish too. But there is a possibility for it to go to the upside. For example, right now, we could either break down below here and come down here to $1.05 and go below it, hit $1, possibly even in 90 cents down here or 89 cents, or we can try to trend upwards. But there's not enough strength right now inside of the market, which is kind of leaning me more towards the downside. I'm really leaning more towards the downside here for AVANTIS, and it's not looking too good. It's starting to look a bit bearish here for me, right? So this is the 30-minute chart that we're looking at. So you can kind of see what everything's looking like in a 30-minute. But let's look over here at the MACD. So on the 30-minute here with the MACD, we can definitely see that selling pressure right here. But so really weird, like the volume is super low for this area, like super low. So it looks extremely weird just looking at it. And then the percent R trend exhaustion here shows the long-term trend is pretty bearish, still on the downside down there. And the short-term trend is just fluctuating a lot here on the percent R trend exhaustion. And then we have the hourly chart where the short-term trend is absolutely going crazy for the percent R trend exhaustion, just completely pumping to the moon. And then the long-term trend is still sideways. So this is the thing. When you see the short-term trend come back and pull back, you're going to see the price drop. So when this eventually comes down, you're going to see the price drop just like this. And just to kind of show you guys what that looks like, boom, went up, but the long-term trend stayed sideways. So what happened when it had to come down? It brought the price down. But then over here, you can see the long-term trend kind of went up a little bit with it, but not 100%. So when the short-term trend came up, the long-term trend was right here to save it. But the long-term trend only had a little bit more ways to go up before it became bearish as well. Then it started to sell off. So pretty much what I'm saying here is, hypothetically speaking, if we go off of previous performance and let's say that this long-term trend stays a little sideways, the short-term trend comes up here, crashes and meets the long-term trend here, and then they go up. That means within the next day or two, we could end up seeing AVANTIS going lower. And that's why I'm leaning more closer to us going down to this support here at about $1.05. If we break that, then we come down to $1. And then if we break that, we have 89/90 cents. So I'm really looking for that 90 cents area if we are to break this level. So according to the patterns, the bearish symmetrical triangle tells us that this is bearish. but also according to the technical indicators, the percent R trend exhaustion and the MACD. Well, the MACD doesn't necessarily tell us bearish. The MACD, actually, you can see buying pressure right here, more buying pressure than anything, but it could reverse to bearish selling pressure at any given time. But just look at how it's riding the bottom of this trend line of this symmetrical triangle. It's literally just on the bottom of it, just ready to just like crash. And that's kind of what it looks like it's waiting for. And then when you come over here to the 2-hour chart, we're seeing that the same thing. The short-term trend continues to pump, but the long-term trend continues sideways. But we are noticing the long-term trend is starting to trend up. As you can see here, it looks like the highs are getting higher for our percent R trend exhaustion, right? And then it looks like the lows are getting higher as well for the percent R trend exhaustion, which means that this thing could be working its way up. You can kind of see the long-term trend here curving upwards. Whenever you get this right here, this is usually a buy signal. So this is the 2-hour chart though. So it's a little bit longer than the 30-minute chart. So I do think that we can have a possibility of moving to the top of this wedge pattern, right? But it's all contingent upon whether or not this long-term trend continues upwards. So like if the percent R trend exhaustion shows that the long-term trend doesn't continue upwards and it just kind of curves back downwards and this continues upwards, then we're definitely going to end up seeing a drop in the price. But a drop in the price could come after the pump, because if you look back here, that's exactly what happened last time. Look, the long-term trend stays sideways, short-term trend goes up and pumps, then we get a pump inside of the prices, and then it comes down as the short-term trend comes down, short-term trend goes back up as the long-term trend stays sideways. We get another pump, we hit the top of our symmetrical triangle, come back down to the bottom. Now what does it look like it's doing again? We should have another pump to the top of that symmetrical triangle, just like this. And then the long-term trend should stay sideways, but it might not. And if it doesn't, then it continues to pump. But if it does stay sideways, and then we should see the short-term trend pulling back down here too. So get ready for a possible short-term pump, like a short-term pump, and then possibly a dump downwards to like 89 cents or 90 cents short term. And then it could be a pretty fast recovery if it hits 89 or 90 cents. I think people are going to buy that up fast. So right now, I think we're in a good space with AVANTIS. It's all just timing at this point. So I will keep you guys updated. But as of right now, we are looking like we are in a good space here with AVANTIS. So I wouldn't really be too worried about what's going on. Even if it dumps, it's a good buying opportunity. I think is going to get bought up pretty quick down there, around 90 cents if it does go down there. So if it does that, then that could be a good buying opportunity for a lot of people. So anyways, that's what I got for that. Enough of the pricing stuff. Again, I feel like I talked about this yesterday. I feel like AVANTIS is cooking up for something. And they're just going to do kind of what they did last time, just left and right, just drop stuff left and right, because they were getting listings left and right. They're getting updates left and right to their platform. And then that was just driving the price up. They just kept adding new stuff to AVANTIS, adding new listings for futures, just adding them back to back, and it was pumping the price. And the volume was going through. So they need to do something like that to create like a funnel effect, so it just continues to go on and on and on and on. A lot of people here seem to be pretty bullish right now. There are a few bears, not many, but most people are very bullish right now. This person's one of the only bears I see here. It says it's not too late to sell AVANTIS. But look, when I'm saying that it's going to pull back, like I'm talking short-term stuff. Like this is pretty short-term. Like let's say it goes through this pattern here, and then it comes down and pulls back to 89 cents. It's probably going to almost immediately get bought up from there. This is just a heavy buying zone. Whenever we see anything get to this price, it's just a heavy buying zone. The volume increases even if it's to the downside. We even see increased selling, just increased volume in general around this level. So we're just going to have to see what happens after that. So This is pretty much all I got for you all today. So hit the like button, subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. And as always, I'll be back with another video.